The snow falls, each flake in its appropriate place. In this Zen teaching, this Zen saying, there is an immense profoundness. It is saying that in every situation in life, life itself is unfolding just as it needs to be unfolding. Now this brings in the conversation of good and bad. When we look at things in an enlightened perspective, we start realizing that all dualities converge to one. That there really isn't no such thing as good or bad. Now the mind is going to say otherwise. It's going to say, no, this thing is very bad. It feels painful. But in its essence, what feels painful is your identification with what your mind is saying about what you're perceiving or what situation you're going through. The moment you accept the situation 100% beyond your mind, but just accepting the present moment for what it brings, there is peace. And it also puts you in a point of power because you're able to take action in that present moment, but not in an egoic, reactive way, but backed up with cosmic energy. You'll see things with clarity, you'll see things as they are. So beyond good and bad, to see things that way, you gotta not judge the moment. You gotta not judge the experience. Now, what's judging the experience? What's judging the moment? The mind, the ego. With awareness, this judgment is cut. There's distance. And like I said, you're able to be in a place of power. You're able to have a reaction that is conscious. You know where the reaction is coming from. It's coming from your higher self. It's coming from your awareness. And you're not reacting in an automatic loop way. Good and bad. This conversation, this subject has perplexed humans for all of existence, I'm gonna say. But truly, what is good and what is bad? Now here's a story. There's a story that goes something like good luck, bad luck. So say a guy, he wins a car, a very fast car, a nice car. Now his family members, his relatives are all saying like, whoa, like that's such good fortune, good stuff. Now this wise guy who has received the car says, maybe, could be so. And he continues with his life. One day he's driving that car, and when he's driving that car and he stopped in an intersection, a drunk driver hits him and crushes his car, and then the guy has to go to the hospital because he may have broken some things, he got hurt. Now the relatives say, oh, what bad fortune. Look, you're in this state now. And the wise man says once again, could be so. And he says this smiling. He's not resisting what happened. He's not saying, oh, screw this. He's accepting it and moving forward and allowing the present moment. And when you say could be so, you will allow the space. You allow there to be more options than just what your mind is telling you of the situation. Your mind is telling you, no, the situation is bad or good. Now, let's continue with the story. The man keeps living. He has to spend a couple nights there. So it happens that one of those nights, there is a large landslide, and he lived in a mountain. And what happened is that his house got completely crumbled. If that man would have been there, you know what could have happened. He probably would have ascended to another realm. So now his relatives go back to the hospital and mention to him, you have such good fortune. Because you stayed here this night in the hospital, this tragedy that could have happened did not happen. And once again, the man just smiled and said, could be so. Now, as I said, there's a lot of power when you say could be so and when you don't judge the moment, because in truth, you don't know. Your mind can't comprehend the things that are going on. that are so particular that add on to your whole life experience. There's things that you might not understand now, but that later in the future, after you see all the unfoldment of your life and all the situations, you'll be like, oh, I met this person for this reason. I might have gotten hurt and then met these people in the hospital for this reason. It's infinite. It goes on forever. The probabilities go on forever, but there is a high order, a very divine high order, and this is perfection, you could call it. And this perfection is, of course, hidden in the imperfection that the mind sees. But truly, when you stop labeling things as good or bad and start seeing them not with your mind but with your higher self, with awareness, when you start trusting the universe, you'll know that truly every situation has a reason, and that reason is individual as well as collective. It's a paradox. So whatever experience you're going through right now, it's helping you evolve and others evolve as well, whether that be people around you and plants, animals. Like I said, the collective is all inclusive. It's not just humans. If you want to see the perfection of the world, just go out at night, look at the stars, the force that's circulating the planets around the sun, the perfect order of the stars being in the just right place. It's a perfection that's beyond our mind. So when we start looking at things without labeling them, judging them as good or bad, like I said, it puts us in a place of power. First of all, we feel peace. Now with this peace, we have clarity, and with a clear mind, you're receptive, so you get the right ideas, you get the right probabilities of action, the intuitions of where to go. When you resist things, when you start judging a situation as bad, when you say, my car broke down, this is so terrible, it feels bad first of all, so that's a red flag, because your emotional guidance system is letting you know, okay, you're looking at this situation not the way that your higher self is looking at the situation. There's discord, and that's what negative emotion is. It's when you're just think of it as a stove. Think of your finger. If you put your finger at a hot stove, you're gonna feel it. Now, this emotional compass system, these emotions, not that they're bad, they're just making you aware that something's gonna go wrong. Your body's gonna get hurt if you keep your finger there, So if you keep going through this life path, you're gonna go through hardship, you're gonna feel not bad emotion, you're gonna feel tough emotion. It's not with the smooth plan that you have right there for you. It's not in tune with the present moment, with the universe's plan for that present moment, for you and for the collective. So your emotions are a guidance system as to meaning in your life, what things you should go towards, what are your passions. It lets you know about that. And thinking of things in good and bad and transcending that, it takes awareness. And many times it takes a very, very, very crippling crisis for us to awaken to this. Because the ego has a hold, and the mind patterns are so strong that they don't dissolve until something really big happens. When you're in a point in life, and it may be some of you viewing right now, and this happened to me. I was in a point in my life where my mind patterns were not serving me. My conceptualization of the world, it was just not working. I knew that something needed to change, and I knew it was going to be tough at first, because it's kind of like having a rebirth, starting all over again. But I awakened to the reality of how the world is, and the flawed premises, the false belief systems that I had been programmed with. I was able to see them clearly. Now, do I consider all those programs bad? No, I don't. Do I consider them good? At this point in stage, I don't consider them good or bad. I just accept them and I acknowledge that they help me awaken. So you can say they were good, you see, because they helped me awaken, but they brought me so much pain, so they were bad. See, these are all the arguments your mind's gonna bring for every single situation in your life, basically. But when you reach a point where you are truly at peace with the present moment, you're truly at peace with a past experience that you've had, and this is big with traumas, when you come to acceptance of it and you see it as what it is, and don't judge it with the ego, don't become identified with it, but see it as, okay, this happened, I won't judge it, I'll see it as it is. Now how are we gonna move forward? What did we learn from it? Now let's move forward. Because the more you identify with something, the more energy you start giving it, the more you're gonna relive it, the more the law of attraction is gonna bring that to you. But when you come to a state of not looking at things in good or bad, and have acceptance and trust the universe and know that everything's unfolding just as it should be unfolding, every snowflake is falling just where it's supposed to fall, there is great power in that. You come into an awareness, into an understanding that really every single situation you live through, whether it be hurtful, whether it be really positive, whether you won the lottery, whether you went broke, you'll notice that all of this is pushing you to evolve. And it is so right for your path and for the collective as well. So become aware and become more and more present in your daily life, in every circumstance. The more present you become, the more aware you become of these lessons that you're learning, these things that are pushing you to grow. Not so much pushing you, but incorporating growth in your life. There are things that are serving you, there are things that are making you grow. Now, I cannot stress it enough. It may be hard at first to look at things in a way of not judging them, especially like I said, traumas, things that might have been very hard, but there is so much release when you stop looking at it in a negative way or a positive way. When you look at it just as how it is objectively, there is great power in that. When you observe it, you are the observer of your life. There's thoughts, but you are the observer of the thoughts. There is a segment in you that's observing everything that's going on, that's observing all the thoughts going on in your head, that's observing every experience. And this observer is beyond words, is beyond all conceptualizations, yet all conceptualizations have emerged from this. This observer is your highest essence. This is your connection to source, you could say. This is the essence from where you came from. It contains everything. Now, since it contains everything, of course, you won't be able to understand it with just words, because words are a small fragment of it. It is all-inclusive. This awareness, this observer that you are is the essence of the universe. It's God Force. You are an extension of God Force. That's why the highest truths, like I said, well, I haven't said yet, but the highest truths, the highest universal laws at their essence are all paradoxes. They all contradict themselves through language. And that's because the mind, as much as it wants to try to, it won't be able to understand the essence, since it is not the essence. You understand what I'm saying? The essence is beyond the words. The paradox, good or bad, you could say, what do you mean? Like, there's good, there's bad. How can we transcend both? How does truth and falsehood, how does negative and good, evil and good, how can all these things really, how can I just let go of all that and do that? Well, like I said, don't become attached to what your mind is saying about the situation. Just let it go. And when you let it go, that observer in you will be able to feel the truth, feel the radiance. And the paradox too is when you do this, your life just starts unfolding good. But it's no surprise that your life starts unfolding in a pleasant way. It's because when you're in this state of non-objective reaction, non-objective criticism to the moment, you are in tune with that river of life, like I said, that cosmic force. So all of your actions will be backed up by cosmic force. You'll be taking action. You'll be receiving the thoughts that source wants you to receive to keep navigating in that empowered way. So yeah, my friends, I encourage you to at least question good and bad. We are awakening as a collective, and this is huge. Now, I'm telling you this because when I changed my perspective of looking at things from good and bad to simply looking them as they are and accepting it, I began to receive so much clarity on events of my life. I was able to release many things, and I just gained so much peace, so much power. My vibration raised. It was just it's been a really good experience ever since I started looking at life in that non-objective way and accepting what's coming. And like I said, that doesn't mean that sometimes I may get caught up in it, but I'm more aware every time. I'm more aware every time of whatever human drama is going on, and every time, every day, I'm gaining more awareness, and my point of power is growing. Like I said, when you're aware, there is distance. The more distance, the more awareness, the more power you are able to have. I hope you guys have an excellent day. I hope you find peace, and just pay attention to your day today, and you'll see that every single situation you go through has a meaning to it. Now, don't fall into the trap of trying to find out that meaning with your mind. Just stay present in the moment and accept what is. You don't need to try to understand my words. When you're in flow, when you're truly focused in a movie, you don't have to try to keep up with the sequence of the movie. You're simply so engaged that you're absorbing the movie. And then you're able to recall it to your friend effortlessly, you know? You didn't have to try to be focused. You entered that flow state, you know? Happens in sports too. So try to enter this flow state in all experiences in life. And your life is already rich as it is. It's good as it is. Don't fall into the illusion of saying, my life would be better if I had more awareness. Everything is just as it is right now, and it's great as it is right now, and it serves you. Now with your awareness, you step into that point of power. I'll bring it back to the first thing I said in this video. The snow's falling. Each snowflake falling at its appropriate place. Thank you, everyone. Have a beautiful day.